But I feel like we talked about this before, but I just want to talk about like salary and credit score transparency because somebody like inspired me to talk about this on Twitter because they were saying how, it really had me thinking. And I was like, this is a really good like conclusion of my thought on about this. Because we always go back and forth about how we feel about telling the world your salary, right? Like flexing stuff. And it's like the why. Like why are you announcing your credit score, right? Why are you announcing your salary? And that's always like the why. And it's like, yeah, people are flexing. And rightfully so, you could do that, right? Nothing wrong with flexing. So I want to bring this conversation up because there was a tweet about, and let me get the exact tweet actually, because I said I want to show the tweet. I gotta go to my page. Where is it? Oh my God. Did someone reply to my tweet? Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, here we go. I found it. Oh, somebody replied too. Oh, I should go back. Okay. Someone said, y'all are way too comfortable telling the internet how much you make. My mother doesn't even know my exact salary. And, we have these conversations because we talked about it before, like how I tell my parents what I was getting paid when I was living at home and how that actually could be a bad thing because they know how much you make, so they can make you pay for things. We had a conversation about this, right? And I'm like, okay, I get that, right? But then my whole thing is I do think there's this thing going on where there's like, there should be transparency and how my main thing is that there's a thing called pay secrecy, right? And there's like that's like a legitimate thing. That's like study saying that it was like actually created in this society for us to have like secrecy over our pay, and because it keeps people underpaid. And we had this conversation before too, like about how when you actually talk about salary, people are actually getting paid more now because of the transparency. People are demanding more. Like that girl that even admitted herself that that lowballed somebody purposefully because she was like, oh, she didn't ask for more, so I could have gave her like 150 and she gave her like 90 or something like that. It was crazy, right? But look, if she would have saw a tweet with somebody who's exposing their salary, maybe she would have asked for more. And I think this tweet that the guy wrote was inspired because there was some guy who said he had this tech job and the pay was 155, and he said that he's not accepting that. He's gonna ask for 200. So I think that's what inspired that other guy to make that tweet. But like I said, I do feel like pay secrecy is literally a structure because like at the end of the day, why are we really so secret about it? Like, what is knowing how much someone makes harmful? And my argument to that is because people be like, oh, it's a safety issue, right? It's concern. You could be a target. That's like the main thing. That's what I didn't even see this girl said this, and I'm about to respond to her. That was a day ago. Glassdoor makes an individual posting makes them a target, right? And no, but someone else actually responded, so maybe I don't need to. They said, a target for what exactly? Yeah, see, I don't need to reply because he said a target for what exactly? Because it's like
somebody lining you up for $80,000 salary is hilarious.
Exactly.
I don't have $80,000 in the house.
And that's why I kind of want to reply to her, but it's like, nah, like maybe I won't, but maybe I will because this is my argument to that, right? If that's such a concern to people, it makes you a target. Why do those same people who say that post their designer? Does that not make you a target? Oh, look at my new Yeezys. Look at my new
wait, talking about I have to no. I have to hold you accountable because you can't do these generalizations where you make a statement and then you just say, well, what about all these other people? Because you can't say that all the other people that post their designer have the same mindset.
They do.
No, but you have to give me specific
I'll give you a specific example.
examples.
I told there's a girl who on my original Twitter account who's kind of like relevant. She followed me years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, because I responded to a thread about people showing sneaker pics with their couple. And remember, we got like thousands of likes. It was like us with our shoes. And remember, I was arguing with people because they were trying to say our shoes were fake. And we had to show, remember we were sending them receipts showing up the shoes that we brought. Remember that whole thing? Like that kind of blew up. She followed me from that. And she's one of those girls. She's always posting her designer. She's really she's from New York. So she's a New York fashion girl, like an Instagram model. She's always talking about, like she's into streetwear. So she always tweets about her brands, always. And then she made this tweet like a year ago before my Twitter got taken, posting your credit score and salary so whack. So when that's a specific example, and there's probably plenty of other people like that. But I could actually give you an exact example of that girl. I don't know. I don't even want to put her thing out there because that could be wild. Because someone might find her Twitter and be like, "This girl talking about you."
But how does that equate to the safety thing?
That's what I'm about to get into. People post all their designer though. Like a lot of people do that. Like
no. But if she's just saying it's whack and not that it's a safety issue, then I don't understand.
No, but she kind of says it's kind of like weird too. She's like, what, why? Like, why you letting people know that? It's like, but why are you letting people know that you buy designer? Like, I feel like it's the same argument, even if it's not a concern thing. Why is me flexing what I make any different than you flexing the stuff this expensive stuff that you buy? Because either way, that's equating to you got money in some way too, or you trying to make it look like you got money. So why is me actually telling and proving how much I actually make different than that? And like another thing too is vacations. People love to flex their vacations, right? You see these vlogs all over TikTok, these mini vlogs, day in my life, $200, people at that Revolution toaster I wanted, me making my toaster, my touchscreen toaster, making my blender. Look at my views, high rise, going shopping, and they got the low exposure mode, and they got all the designer stores, and then they show themselves walking out with the Saks bag, right? And then it's like, going on a trip, first class, drinks, not even first class, but they just be like an economy, drinks, okay, all exclusive. No, I'm just saying, I'm painting the picture, right? But then when the conversation comes to credit score, transparency, and salary, it's whack. It's so what's the word, like taboo? Is the word taboo? Right? It's taboo. It's whack. It's have some respect. But you just posted up your whole life, all these designer bags, and this is my conclusion. Posting your designer and vacation, all that, you could get away with tricking people because people scam. People fund that whole lifestyle on credit. They're in debt. People are living negative lifestyles as far as their funds. They're literally living life in debt, like funding everything that you see through credit cards. They're scamming, they're selling vagina, they're doing all that stuff to make money. So my conclusion is when these conversations come about salary and credit score transparency, like if people are, sharing that, they're just mad because they can't participate in that conversation. And that's why I fully agree on, because why is me posting my little $80,000 a year salary? How is that affecting you? I'm a target, but you posting that you just took a trip to Saks doesn't make you a target. That actually probably makes you more of a target. Nobody wants my little $2,000 paychecks. Nobody wants that. But they see that you buying designer. You look like you got more money than me because that's half my check going towards your bag that you just spent. So if anything, you look like you got more money than me. So why is that never a conversation? Why is that never, that should be a concern? Why is it like, yes, my friend rich.
There's a conversation too.
It's never talked about.
Yeah, it is.
People
always talk about people. Pop Smoke got killed from that. So yes, it is.
Okay, you're right. It is a conversation. But I just mean as far as like, there's so much more critique about people posting their salaries versus that. And like I said, my conclusion is people, they can't participate in those conversations because if they participate, wouldn't that not expose you, right? If you're like, yeah, my credit score is 600, my credit score 680, like you're embarrassed by that, and you should be, because like you got all this expensive stuff and you can't get your credit up. Getting my credit up was actually the easiest thing in my whole entire life. I'm stuck in the 760 range. I've been stuck for years, but I jumped my credit score up 141 points in one cycle, just by simply paying off credit card debt. So it's like, why is me saying my credit score is like, I think my exact score is 764. What is that? What does that information just do for everybody I just said that to? What do they know about me? That I pay my bills on time? Like, identity theft. Okay. You could steal anybody's identity. Like you could try to, like, that still don't mean nothing. Like what, like people just want to have an excuse. And like I said, for me, it narrows down to, they just can't participate in those conversations. So they, they feel cool when they could flex their bags. They feel cool when they could do all that. But when it comes down to proving that you actually got it like that, that's how I feel. When it like, that's proof that you really got it like that. How come you can't tell the world how much you make? Oh, because your salary is probably $30K and you funding your lifestyle on credit. So you're mad because you can't participate in that conversation. Because we ask you, okay, how much do you get paid? Nah, I don't want to share that because you guys are weird. No, you don't want to share that because you're embarrassed. Like, just be real, Because if you was making big money or got this big crazy offer, you would be telling the whole world the same way you tell the world about your bags and your all-inclusive trip. Because they'll share every detail of their life, but they won't tell you how much they're making or where they work because they're embarrassed. They work in, okay, I'm not going to say a specific job. But it's like, it makes me mad because I feel like I'd be like, because last times, like, that girl making that tweet, it was after I made a tweet about, like, my credit score. So I'm like, are you talking about me? Like, don't be coming at me just because you are inadequate in that area. Because, like I said, that's how I feel. That's when you really prove that you got it. Because you could fake the funk. It's so easy to fake flex these days. There's so many people literally living out here with thousands of dollars. Like, how could you even go to sleep at night knowing that you owe thousands and thousands of dollars and have nothing to really show for it in real life? You're still at home with your parents. You don't got no like credit. Like when it's time for you to grow up and move out, what house are you buying? If your credit score is in the 600s or 500, I mean, you could get a house with that, but it's gonna be a high interest in 30 plus years, you know. So it's like that's how I feel. Because for me, there's no harm in this conversation, in the transparency. If anything, the transparency actually is making people become less underpaid. There's literally a study about how people are underpaid because of pay secrecy. Like that's a thing. Pay secrecy is a thing. Like why did we feel as a society so weird about that? And I get that some things you might want to keep private, but we really have to get down to the root. Why is that such a privacy thing? Who cares? You know, I don't gotta tell you exactly what I got in my bank account, but what is you knowing how much I make? How's that hurting me? How's that making me a target? How's that making me any less of a target than you posting your designer? Like why is that generally accepted? Why is Lil Durk telling the world that he got 40 million from his label? Oh, well deserved. But I go on Twitter and say I make $78,000. I make $80,000. It's like, oh, keep that secret. But Lil Durk says he got 40 million from his label and is well deserved. That's lit. He's more of a target than me. Millions of people know him, right? He could get and he's gang affiliated. Like he actually got real life, real beefs and stuff. But he's not a threat. He's not at risk. But my little accountant job, not even making six figures yet. I'm a target. Okay, you just mad because you can't participate in the conversation, and that's how I feel about it. I know That's why I wanted you to tell your perspective because you.
I wasn't going to.
No, but I'm saying I know we want to wrap this up, but you no, because you're somebody who keeps your pay secret. I don't even know full your salary, which is annoying because it's like we live together. Just tell me.
What's the question?
I mean, I feel like you have told me. I can't tell if you're joking or not. You just irk me. No, but my question is from your perspective as somebody who's more private about your pay. Do you feel like you're only private because you're just a private person? Do you feel like there's any harm in transparency, in credit score, and salary transparency? Like, do you feel like it's more of a benefit or more of a harm?
I think it's both. To be completely honest, it actually is both. And the reason why, credit score doesn't really matter. I don't know why people post credit scores. That shit is just stupid to me because it's like.
I mean, it's an accomplishment.
But it's the equivalent of
the personal accomplishment.
Okay, well, let me finish speaking. You just spoke for however long you were speaking.
All right, I'm just saying it's an accomplishment.
For me, I feel like it's the equivalent of people posting anything on the internet because all of it is stupid because nobody asks for any of this information.
Exactly.
And all of it is stupid. But the level of what is like what I consider to be the okay kind of thing, it's the okay meter. It's like somebody posts a vacation. People post vacations. It's not really high on the okay meter.
But it kind of is though. It's like just enjoy your trip.
Right.
What do we got to see?
But I think that there's other things that people post that are more like if somebody posted, I only had sex with 4 people. It's like, okay, like that's kind of my gauge for it's like.
Yeah, it's like why are you telling us?
Yeah, like what?
But do you feel like I said credit score is an accomplishment? Like I feel like getting your credit score up, it showed like it is kind of an accomplishment. Like you, I mean, at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, you pay your bills, cool. You pay your bills on time and in full, cool. So I get it, but it's like, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you could be okay, but then it's like, why is it so bothersome to some people? Some people get real mad and real upset.
I can't answer that. I'm just speaking
because your credit score is less than 700. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Honestly, that's how I really feel. Because there's really no other reason that you're that upset. If your credit is good and you're doing good, you're not mad about that. You might still think it's weird, right? But you're not mad. You're not expressing how upset it made you. But yeah. So what about the salary then? Cause credit score, like I said, it's no harm, right? You agree credit score is no harm. It's kind of just like okay.
Salary only benefits your peers. Yeah, it doesn't benefit you. If anything, it actually hurts you, and I've seen that since my dad is,
But pay transparency.
Mm-hmm.
You think it hurts more than it helps?
I've seen instances where it hurts. Like I just gave you the example the other day. I can't say it on camera because I don't know. There's certain regulations and stuff like that. But I was told by an anonymous source that someone accidentally put out the pay that they were giving a new person for this is a bad example. I'll use a different example. Because that one, basically, I'll just finish the example, but basically someone accidentally saw what somebody else's salary was. So this would be the whole pay transparency thing. And then, she was like, kind of like, that's almost double my salary for the same job role. So there was some beef there. Now, which was a bad example, but that can also still be true. Like, payment doesn't, the idea of equality doesn't mean, remember, like, we were just having this conversation with about Jordan Peterson. Equal opportunity and equal outcome are two different things. People want equal outcome. People want to be in the same job role and make the same amount of money, but it can't work that way because you don't have always the same exact credentials and same tenure. Like, there's a lot of different factors.
And work ethic. Because you could have the same job, but you could do more projects than the other person.
Right. Like,
so you might get paid $5,000, $10,000 more.
Even me, I have coworkers that all have the same job role and they all get paid more.
Some do the bare minimum and some go above and beyond, and they should be paid for that.
Yeah, and people, they make more than me because they've been there longer than me. They should make more.
Even with the same title,
right?
They're still gonna get more because they've been there 10 years.
Yeah, so there's different factors. Some people have been there 20 years, so you take a 3% salary increase, they're gonna be making way more than me, who's only been there for like 2 years. So there's other factors, but basically another better example was someone's boss saw what the person under them, their direct report was making, and was like, oh nah, you make way too close to me. Like, that's a problem.
Well, yeah, but wouldn't that then give him the clear, the green light to go demand more? Which is what people's point is. Like, now you know what someone below you is getting. It's like, dang, I gotta go make sure I'm getting my money's worth, and I'm gonna go to HR and be like, I need this raise, or I'm quitting. Yeah.
Now people can take that approach, or they can do everything in their power to never have you get another raise or not promote you, and that's what. And
that's when it gets bad, because then you have that weird dynamic with your boss.
Especially if that's your boss that has the issue. They're
the ones who vouch for you to get raises, and so now they're gonna probably go to the board or whatever and be like, yeah, they just did the bare minimum.
And the promotion would be to take their job. So people do take it differently. So I think that there are some cons of it, but in general, I see the point. Like, that's the reason why all athletes have pay visibility.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is it so acceptable? Like, athletes literally, their deals get put out to the universe every day. Why is it us regular people are that bent that you making $80,000?
I don't think people know why that information is public. People don't know why.
But it's not even knowing why though. It's like, why is the outrage not the same? Why is it like, oh, they're a target?
Because we've been accustomed to that since we've come into this world. Most of us, we've always seen this athlete made this rapper made this. Like, we've only known that, so we just think for whatever reason that's just like commonplace. But we don't. When they send out there's a new hire, they're not saying, yo, this is the new hire, this is what they're making. Like, they don't do that. So we're not accustomed to that yet. They're working on it with, I think, New York, and I might be misspeaking, but I think that they're going to, first of all, they're not allowed to ask you what your previous salary is anymore, because a lot of what they would do is when they asked you that, is that they were going to pay you relative to your current salary. So even if the job was paying $150, if you were only making $100, then they're only going to give you $115 or something like that, because it's based off of what your salary is at currently. They're not going to try to give you what you're actually what the job is actually worth, that they don't have to, because your expectation is not to make a $60,000 raise in a job jump. So I think that that's confirmed. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. The other thing is that they may be posting the salaries of the jobs on the actual
application. Yeah.
So technically that gives you visibility, because if somebody accepts a job and somebody just Googles it, they'll be able to see what the salary was. So I think they're going to address it. I mean, everything has pros and cons.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, your cons make sense. Like, that is kind of scary to think that, like, your boss might feel away about how much you get paid. That is a scary thought. But in another aspect, it's like, you could be with somebody who started the same exact time you guys both started. You guys both do the same type of level of work. You might do more. Especially, and that's weird stuff that goes on too with you being a minority, me being a black woman, you being a black man. There's definitely weird things that go on. You might be like, dang, why is my white roommate, why is my white coworker who does less than me? Like, I do all these projects, I volunteer, I do this, I do that. Why are they making $10,000 more than me? So sometimes you see that, you're like, nah, I'm about to go demand it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about knowing what your value is, because when they're throwing out the salaries for these jobs, they're throwing out the salary based on what the job title is. It's not necessarily about you. It's, do you qualify? Yes, you do qualify, and then the pay that they're offering you is in the range of what the job is. They don't really pay you based on your skills.
And that's what they usually do, ask you how much you expect, because it's like, how much are you valuing yourself?
Yeah. That's why they say anticipate the salary.
And then they usually review it. They review your application. They probably look over your resume again, and they decide on what they're going to give you. Okay, yep.
Because usually
we'll give you that.
They're not doing an itemized list like, okay, they know how to do advanced Excel work.
Yeah, they're just looking if you qualify or not. Yeah.
Okay, this is worth $7,000 to us. They don't really do that. Yeah. So it's up to you to really do that yourself.
Yeah. And that's why to this day it's still so crazy to me that how I lowballed myself with this job when I first got it. And they called me back and was like, hey, we're actually going to give you more. I was like, dang, I could have probably said like, what I'm making now.
And that's why I told you, a lot of times that initial salary, it's almost too late then, because then
the initial salary sets you up.
They're not going to set you up forever.
Time there,
that's why people see bigger jumps when they go to other places.
Like, imagine me, what I make now, I started with.
Yeah.
Because that's what Amira started with. Like, what I make now is what Amira started with, and that's why she's at 6 figures already. Because that jump was so easy. You only had to go up, 20,000. But it's like, for me, it's like, dang, I just got there now almost 3 years. And I mean, that's still not bad. It's only been 2.5 years that I got to that point. But that's still 2.5 years where I could have been already like in the 90 range.
Yeah. For me,
I'm almost there though.
I don't think it bothers me as much because I know the value of myself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily bother me. I think it might be bothersome for people that don't really know the market, or like, and me knowing myself is mostly just based off of, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like just doing market research. Some of that market research does come from things like Glassdoor, but those things can also be, not true. Because
you saw your salary. You looked it up. You're like,
I was like,
what? It was like 40.
40.
It was like
40.
I was like, they way off. Like, that was disrespectful.
So sometimes it is a little bit off, but it's also just knowing like your skills. Like, you should be able to know if you're able to do these certain things, these companies will pay you X amount for being able to do it. Like, there's only certain people, like, for example, I know that there's only X amount of people, there's 10% of people in the country have a master's degree.
I think it's 9.
9% of people have a master's degree. You bust that down even more, only a smaller percentage will have an MBA.
Yeah.
So if I'm going into a corporate...
a lot of master's people are kind of just like public health, like education, all that. Yeah. There are a lot smaller percentages of people who do what we do. Because you don't need a master's in accounting. There's not that many masters of accounting out there. Cause you don't even need it to become a CPA. It was just the quickest way to become a CPA. But yeah. Because either you have enough hours of school or you have enough hours in the corporate world. So I kind of wasted my time getting a master's. The whole point of master's was for me to get my CPA like immediately after.
Yeah. So for me, at least, I know the market. I know that being a black man with an MBA at my young age has a certain value. Mm-hmm. So I just know that. So if somebody does some lowball offer, I'll laugh in their face.
That is true. I gotta think about that we're black. And like, obviously, I hate to use a whole affirmative action, but it does come to your benefit. Like, these companies do want that good look. They want to have, we have black associates. We're diverse.
And even if I wasn't black, my resume in itself would jump off the page really for any company. So because of that, I know I wouldn't ever lowball myself in that regard. But I know that's tough for some people to do, especially in unique markets or things because these jobs, they pop up, they don't exist.
And people don't know how much money is open. They be saying, okay, we got 120 for this candidate. And then people be getting 80. And they had 120, up to 120 that they had to give. And of course, you might not be worth that 120. That's why those ranges do exist. But sometimes you might be closer to that 120 than you thought.
I would just say for anybody that has trouble, like, really do as much research as possible. Of course, try to scout the landscape. Part of what really does help that is pay transparency and things like Glassdoor and Indeed and stuff like that. So I would say do as much research as possible, but really understand your true value, like, and that I think will help a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I personally don't disclose those things.
Yeah, and that's your personal preference.
I just don't want to. It's just one of those things. Like, it's all stupid to post anything online is stupid, but for me, posting that wouldn't do anything.
It won't do anything.
Like, I like Instagram to post my pictures and how I edit and creativity. Like, I want to show
that's not how you use social media.
Yeah, it's just not how I use it.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I feel like the same people have that same grace for some of us. We just might like to, we might feel like we don't really have a lot of people to brag to in real life, so we use social media to kind of get some type of some sense of like
achievement.
Yeah, or like not acceptance, but like praise.
Yeah,
like, or validation, because like I'm kind of like, it's weird because people always expect it. They be like, oh, how come you didn't tell us that you made that, or how much you didn't tell us about that promotion? It's like, because like I feel weird just texting a friend like, hey, I had a promotion. Like, some people do that. And it's fine, but I'm not that type of friend. Like, I'm not, like, that's weird to me. Like, I'm not about to text you out the blue and be like, I got a promotion. That feels brag worthy. So I'd rather tell that. I'd rather put that on Twitter or Instagram. So now, if you want to congratulate me, you can. It's out there. But I'm not gonna just text you individually and tell you that. For me, but some people are different. Some people do that. I personally don't. So that's how I get the message out there for family and friends, social media.
Last thing, and then we got around.
Yeah, this is our longest pod.
No, it actually isn't.
It's not?
No, we had one that was like 3, I think. Like, Jesus. Right at 3. But I gotta be up in like 5 hours.
Work, yeah. We lost the hour too.
There was an example of recently where a coworker was asking me, like, basically trying to figure out what I make. And me providing that information doesn't benefit me. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, first of all, it was mostly probably being nosy, but also if I did provide that information, then they would get the benefit of it and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So like,
because like, how come what's yours?
Yeah, and I don't care what yours is, so I'm not asking. And one of his responses was like, he sees what other people are getting paid in other places and he's like evaluating his options. But that's one of those things where it's like, don't ask what you're making in comparison to me. Like, you should know your value. And if you see what other people are getting paid in those other places, then, and you want to leave, then go leave.
Yeah.
But, asking me.
It's like,
like it makes sense to ask me, but I'm not going to provide that because like, there's no benefit for me of you knowing my salary.
Yeah.
It's only a benefit for you if I provide you my salary or provide you what rate I was able to get based on X amount of credit score. But I'm not here to benefit anyone. I'm here to benefit myself. So I'm not gonna, I'll gatekeep information about myself. I'll try to help people to, get a better credit score. Cause I was probably the closest I ever got to 800 was like 2 months ago. I could have posted that. It was like 780, 790 or something. Mm-hmm. I could have posted that. I'm saying it now, which was whack, but.
I don't think it's whack.
I don't.
It's just same thing as saying I got a degree. Like,
I would give keys to maybe achieve a higher credit score, but I wouldn't necessarily say what my credit score is, but you would have to. Yeah. So people would listen, but I don't know. It's just not
like I said, like for me, I really had to think deep. Like, what's the harm? And the only thing people could say is identity theft. Like that for me, that's not a strong enough argument. Like for me, it's like there is no harm.
There's no identity.
There's
theft.
no harm in people knowing. Like, your credit score is like, people really don't understand. Like, it's not a secret thing. Your credit score is the equivalent to like your report card or your grades, because it's just a rating on how you pay back your dets. That's all it is. Which is private. It's just a rating.
Which is a private thing.
No, but you could go on the BBB right now and see what Moody's ranks companies. So how come as a person you're that concerned that people know about your score?
Because people are judgmental and people are pieces of shit.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. People only feel inadequate in that area, and that's why they have so much anger about people who post it. Like, oh, you guys are whack. That posted score. Why am I whack? Because you can't post yours. Like, that's my only conclusion. Because what makes me whack? That I'm posting my score on how I pay back bills. Like, that's what all it really is. It's just a rating on how you pay back your debts. That's all it is. Not no. Like super FBI secret number that's like you got to keep secret. That's not your social security. Your social security, duh, you're not gonna share that. Your address, duh, you're not really gonna share that, even though you could find that easily too.
It's probably just because people don't, like I said, people don't equate it to being the same as posting a vacation.
But why? That's the thing. For me, it's always why.
I think it's because people don't do it. Like, you don't
because
see
they can't do it though. That's my point.
But I think there's people that can do it and still don't do it. Like, I can do it and still don't do it.
Okay, you're right.
But it's not like a common thing to, like, do your parents post their credit score?
Yeah, but our parents didn't grow up on social media, so it's different. I actually do see a lot of people post that. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy my score went up 50 points. And yeah, they're not saying what the score is, but people always announce stuff like that because that's an achievement to them. And it's just like, but why? Like, you really got to ask yourself, why is that bothering you so much? Like, how is that different than people posting that they got all A's in this semester and where their GPA is? Me posting my GPA is literally the same thing as my credit score. This is how my GPA reflects how I pay back. I mean, my GPA reflects on how I do my schoolwork. You look at my GPA, you're like, okay, they're a good studier. They're a hard worker, right? You look at my social security. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. You look at my credit score and it's like, okay, she pays back her bills. How is that any different? How is my 4? I don't have a 4. I had like a 3.2 or something in grad school, or 3.3. 3.4. I think it was a 3.4. How is me posting my 3.4 GPA any different than me posting my credit score? Both of them are just numbers showing how I am. Both of them are kind of just ratings. Your GPA rates how you work.
But I just think that it's not commonplace that people post those things.
People's credit score is bad. You have to admit, a lot of people's scores are bad. You know how a lot of people are living in debt. Unfortunately, it's sad. So it's just not something they can participate in. It's not that they don't do it. It's a lot of people can't do it because they don't want to be embarrassed. And a lot of people can do it like you, but they just, you're just not you're not that person at all. That's the thing about you. You're consistent across the board. You don't post nothing. You don't even post the trips. You post after and post 2 pictures. People want to know anything about your day. They don't know. They want to know they want to know any ins and outs of the trip at all. So you're consistent on that. But there's some people that will post all the design or all this, but when a conversation about salary comes up, they're all of a sudden it's not a flex, and that we should keep that to ourselves. You should have kept your little Jamaica trip to yourself and your Saks Fifth Ave trip. I didn't need to know that either, right?